Immortals of Aveum, a new single-player FPS game where you use magic like this to try to defeat this guy. And yes, thank you EA for sponsoring this video. So starting off, we get introduced here to our lovely family, and of course, like every single series, they died. So my cat gets pissed, gets some special powers, and then starts shooting rainbows from his hands. And we got kidnapped by some person, and the training art began. And then I got trapped in his room, and I wanted to see if I'm actually immortal. I wasn't. So I got my weapons, and the first one is like a sniper, the second one is like a shotgun, and the third one is like a rifle. And of course I can also do some rock bending. Then after 10 minutes walking, we finally met the first boss. Now this wasn't that big of a problem. I just tried to dodge all of his abilities, trying to use all the different types of magic, and I gotta say the mechanics were very simple, except when I used grapple right here, and I don't think I had any special issues with this boss. So after having no struggles defeating the boss here, we got to the most famous time skip that every anime has.
How much time are we talking?
And this guy must have had a rough 5 years because he suddenly became a drug dealer. And then I wanted to see what's happening outside of the base, and I got greeted by this lovely view. So I tried to get my ass to the next area, you sprinted past every one of my teammates dying in front of my eyes, and then we got kidnapped by a dragon. That decided to not eat me. And of course, instead of shooting him when we first got kidnapped, he decided to shoot him at the peak of the height, like 50 stories up in the air, falling all the way down, praying I will not die.
Great. Where the hell am I?
We survived, so I apparently landed in some ruins here, making my way across, just killing any enemy I can see until I found a door here. And after spending 20 minutes trying to open the door, I figured out you just have to shoot these blue things with my blue weapon. Then I finally got my second super ability here, which you won't really see me use because I always kept misclicking my second ability, but yeah. So then I found this elf looking boss here, and my character decided to just shoot first, ask questions later, and of course the elf ran away. So then I took my time using my blue magic here to just kill all the enemies from range, no problem whatsoever, and then I tried to get my way out. Then finally, after like 10 minutes, we get to face the second boss, which was the dragon from before. Now this boss encounter was a lot harder than the first one. I tried to utilize all of my different types of magic, like using the shield here to block their fire. I'm also using my blue magic for range and my red magic for close range. And the hardest part here is to somehow try to dodge his fucking wings, which just does half your health for every swing. Like, how are you supposed to dodge this? Then the second phase came with a dragon flew up into the air, so you scavenged the arena for some mana and health crystals. And being all professional, I used my dash here to dodge the big fire attack from the dragon. Then when the dragon came back to the ground, I remembered to use my special abilities to do extra damage. It did literally nothing, and after like 5 wing swipes in a row, I had to use up all of my health crystals. At this point, I just had to rely on my shield to somehow protect every single attack from the boss while my health tries to regen here. And luckily here, before my shield broke, the dragon flew back up into the air, and we can use our blue magic to finish the boss off in range. And I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how I survived this. Yeah, that was honestly quite a challenge. I was quite lucky. So I returned home, equipped the new weapon I got from the boss, and spec'd into some new talents. Then I also saw that at this box you can actually upgrade your weapons, so I tried to upgrade all my weapons to the max capability. Then venturing out into the world again, we found a nether portal that took us to this place. Now this world does look pretty sick, not gonna lie. Now there's some small puzzles and you have to do some parkour. And of course I kept falling off the map. And then I fought some enemies here using my red magic because it's probably the best for big crowds like this, and we got our way out. And some random green dude popped up, deciding to lift up the bridge because fuck me I guess, so I just politely put the bridge down again. And then I got chosen to do another one of these nether realm portal thingies.
Don't fuck up in there or you'll...
Now this world is a lot harder because the map is ever changing. It has a bunch of traps, so whenever you jump it might just completely remove the wall like this. So I'm slowly progressing through the ever changing maze here, making it take a lot of time to be honest. And from the looks of it, I was not the only one who kinda fell off the map a couple of times. Then it took me about 30 minutes to figure out what to do with this thing here, until I figured out I just pressed my right click button. And then I finally got back to fighting. Of course, was the exact same enemies I've been fighting for the entire game so far, but these times they are transparent. It's been about 2 hours. I've kept going through the entire maze here, and I get to these enemies right here, and I try to stick them with the sloping, it does nothing. Try to change them, it does nothing. So I just used my normal magic and it worked fine. And then we get to see one other of my teammates here joining me for this maze, and they are not having that much fun it seems like. But then we finally got to the end of the maze, and this big green guy kept trying to slap me, but we finally escaped.
I sent them all home. You're the only one to pass.
No, we all saw them die. And we finally got knighted to be an actual immortal.
Of Lucium, Master Magnus of the Order Elite.
What now?
This is your party, Jack. Mingle. All eyes are on you.
No. Then of course, being the protagonist, we got chosen to try to get this new restoration spell here. And then I went outside to try it out to cleanse the world, and this eel-looking thing started attacking me. Of course, it was not very hard to kill. But I kept going through the forest and we found some more enemies to fight here, and we got our fifth, I don't know, ability, and we killed another one of these eels. And then this happened. So we stole his power here to control the Pokemon, and yes, we do have a Pokemon.
Some Triarch shit right there.
And we got to this abandoned mine here where a bunch of new mobs spawned up, and finally we got to the third boss. Now what I didn't realize at the start of this fight is that the boss has some kind of shield, which means that you have to choose green magic to actually do damage to the shield to then be able to damage the boss. But instead I decided to cosplay Goku and just obliterated the boss. And I'm honestly thinking, why have I not done this earlier? But then I did some tree bending here and we had to walk up on the branch to jump over the ledge. And then I picked up this red insignia, which can apparently cancel out the magic from the enemies. So of course I had to try it out, and it works fine. Then I was thinking to myself, am I able to swim in this game? You can't. And then I found out you can use the insignia to break these crystals to get some more money. And we got to another area and I kept just using this blast wave thing, killing all the mobs very quickly. And after doing all of that, we got to this green portal here that will take me to the boss room.
We've got a problem.
What is it?
Sandrak's here.
What? Hold your position. I'm on my way.
And of course he did not listen.
Do you know who I am?
No.
Your men killed my family.
Send him to his family.
Yeah, I would prefer to play as this guy, to be honest. But then the epic boss fight started. We had to fight this guy that ran away from our last fight when we missed every single shot. And I tried to use my red magic as much as possible because that's the one I've upgraded the most. Of course, I had to miss my special ability as well. Now apparently she was weak versus blue magic, so I'm trying to keep my distance here using my blue magic, and also my Pokemon is doing extreme amount of damage on the boss. And in the end, of course, they ran away again.
Let me give you a hand.
Then the final boss Sandrak decides to take over the control of my Pokemon, making it overpowered and fighting myself. Now having no idea how to fight this boss, I just kept shooting blatantly at it, but then I found that it has some weird crystals with different colors on the body. So apparently every magic you use have to use a different color for each crystal on the body to crack his armor. In the end I cracked the armor, and then his head is exposed for us to do some more damage. Which of course I have to reload my weapon, and then I miss out on all of my damage. But then I thought, well, this blast whip should be each magic combined, so I might as well just use that to do as much damage as possible, and it sure did. He cracked down very quickly, and now his head is exposed. Then he got back up, got a blast whip again, and he was very smart by covering his entire body with his arms, so I cannot use my ability here. Now being all out of health crystals and a final green rock left to crack, I was fighting for my life trying to destroy the crystal while having my shield up to block his arms. Then finally I managed to crack the last crystal, killing the boss in the end. Then the weird magic thing implodes that the boss was working on, and we got into this weird tentacle netherrealm thing. And I was honestly super confused of where I'm supposed to go here. I was walking back and forth having no idea that there's a big thing right behind me. And then we died. The end. Just kidding, we apparently teleported back and everything was just fine. But that is where I'm gonna stop. I hope you guys enjoyed this little playthrough here, and if you guys want to know more about the game, you can check the link in the description. And thank you EA for sponsoring this video again.